Hey, thanks so much for finding the video. Do us a favor. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe. And be sure to leave your comment. We love to interact. Enjoy the video. Are you just trying to kick the anthill with your latest piece at theathletic.com/New Orleans?
Well, the anthill will grow taller as the season goes, so why not just kick it over and let's see how it grows. It's leading up to the Panthers game, which I have been out in front and obviously incorrect that Team Teddy Bridgewater would be Drew Brees' successor. He's not. We know Tom Brady's not, and so I figured, why don't I talk to some people who I deem smarter than me in evaluating football and figure out where they think the Saints should turn as far as the successor to Drew Brees. And I'll tell you what, the answers from I basically had a 5-person panel, and the answers were kind of all over the map, and it really surprised me and maybe shows that the answer to the question might not be as simple as Team Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill's not going to be the successor to Drew Brees. I just think you're trolling everybody by having Sam Darnold as the image affixed to the headline. Because if Sam Darnold is the option to replace Drew Brees, I might surrender my Saints fandom.
Look, I will say that came from Daniel Jeremiah.
He's fired. He's fired. I don't know who he is. I don't care. He's not good at his job. He needs to be fired.
He's the new Mike Mayock on NFL Network.
And they should fire him. I don't even call for people to be fired, but I'm starting today the campaign, fire Daniel Jeremiah for even suggesting that Sam Darnold be the heir apparent to Drew Brees.
I was shocked when he said this.
Fired.
And he said it, I'm talking like immediately he said it. I couldn't believe it. And so it's something that when I've talked to each of the 5 people, and I'll just throw out the names who I talked to, Greg Cosell from NFL Films, and he does the NFL matchup show from ESPN, Louis Riddick, of course, from Monday Night Football, Daniel Jeremiah, who you think should be fired. Jim Nagy from the Senior Bowl, who was a 20-year scout in the NFL, and Kurt Warner. We all know Kurt Warner. So It's funny how each person seemed to have a guy, and it wasn't all uniform. Some of them agreed on some people, but it definitely was not uniform. So I found it funny how someone like Daniel Jeremiah was Sam Darnold. And look, I did not put the picture up there, but I did not disagree to draw people into the story, considering that he was an interesting name. It's not troll bait, clickbait. It's what someone I highly respect who you think should be fired said. But
fired.
It just shows the diversity of, so many people have so many different opinions of where the Saints should go next.
Look, Jameis seems like an obvious answer. Was there a general feeling on Jameis?
Well, I could say that Kurt Warner was the lead cheerleader. Like, if you're driving up to early voting and there's someone sitting there with, like, the campaign sign, that's Kurt Warner. He didn't even need to get paid.
Honk if you're voting for Bill.
Honk for Jameis. Or, juke through traffic for Jameis. But, no, he was very adamant for Jameis, very adamant against Taysom Hill, and I don't want to give away the entire article, but it's I can say that there's definitely mystery behind where Taysom falls into the mix from a lot of the people that I talked to. Some people aren't totally poo-pooing him, but there's definitely some Sean Payton might be on an island on this one.
Okay, so that's did anybody say that's a good idea?
No.
Okay, that basically everybody knows that at this point. That's fine. Again, theathletic.com/New Orleans. Larry's piece, his latest piece. This was not, you and I talked over the weekend, and this was not supposed to drop until tomorrow. So I have not had a chance to read it fully yet, but I'm looking forward to doing so after the show. But whoever the guy is, again, whatever his name is, the guy who wants Darnold, he's fired. Get rid of him. One more on this draft. Any names that would make sense late round 1 potentially?
one guy who we have a running bet on.
I would cry.
Cry?
I'd cry.
You might want to see whoever's in the story who's describing said player. You're probably going to want him fired too.
I don't really want anybody fired, but I would be nauseous. I would really be nauseous if Sam Darnold is the guy. I don't
buy that. I don't buy that. And it's funny because someone I talked to afterward, he basically said, well, that's always been his guy. And he did not agree. And that's in the story of the description.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I'll just put it to you this way. Like the NFL draft options that are in there that are brought up, I add to it Greg Cosell's quote-unquote transition outlook. He gave me all of his notes on like 15 quarterbacks that have never been published. I'm super thankful for that, and he does such a wonderful job. And he allowed me to use it just as is, quote him on it, and use it. And it's really interesting, some of the ins and outs. But there's one quarterback possibility in the draft where a couple of people tended to agree, but the Saints might need to be aggressive to go get one of these quarterbacks.
Okay. All right, Larry Holder's with us on Twitter, @LarryHolder. Go read his stuff, theathletic.com/New Orleans, a piece up there about Drew Brees' heir, which is, as this season goes along, I think we can all agree, is going to become an even more and more aggressive conversation because it feels like there is an air of inevitability after this season. But this season, there's obviously still work to do. Saints coming off their bye. Larry, they look healthy, man. Aside from Mike Thomas, Kiko Alonso, Ty Montgomery, looks like they're returning from injuries. Where do you see the most significant addition coming back from injury for New Orleans, aside from Mike Thomas?
I mean, I'm not going to get overly excited about Kiko, and I'm not going to get overly excited about Ty Montgomery. I mean, you don't want Ty Montgomery playing. Alvin Kamara's been playing great. I think he's just an insurance plan. Kiko Alonso, he would probably come in as your strong side linebacker. And let me tell you, the Saints have played. I would probably. I have not looked at the numbers, but I would bet that they have played the fewest snaps with an actual strong side linebacker there in the field than any team in the NFL. Period. Because Zach Bond never plays.
Yeah.
Caden Ellis doesn't play. It's usually just Demario Davis and Alex Anzalone, and that's it. Maybe Kiko jumps in and plays Anzalone's role. I don't know, but we'll see with that. But I think that I'm wondering if Janoris Jenkins is healthy. He's missed the last couple of games. Patrick Robinson has had to start in his place. Obviously, we saw confusion on a deep touchdown in the Chargers game. I don't put that all on Patrick Robinson. As that play was going, I saw P.J. Williams creeping up, and Patrick Robinson was wondering, dude, why are you not back here? And so I'm not putting that all on Patrick Robinson, and he's made some decent plays, but you don't want him starting on the outside. So I think Jenkins coming back. I liked what I saw from Marcus Davenport. Obviously, he's the one with the spotlight on him, and his snaps, he was able to get to the quarterback and create some havoc. And so if you could have it on a rotational basis and keep him on the field, that's certainly a plus. And we saw a good pass rush against the Chargers.
Let's look at Carolina in this matchup in particular. We're unsure about Christian McCaffrey. I know he worked out yesterday, but still no word on his availability for the game. I mean, Larry, the Saints are better than a touchdown favorite in this game. Does that make sense as you put together the pieces of the puzzle for this game on Sunday?
Well, it sounds like Christian McCaffrey's not going to play it. I think maybe a half hour ago, NFL Network reported that he was going to be sit out and then probably come back next week. So that means Mike Davis, who's played well, is going to start. And I'm just nervous about the Saints. I just feel like they are shaky. And I'm still, how I do my weekly cheat sheet and I go inside the numbers and all this. Let me tell you, Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Brees are like mirror images of each other in the way they where they move the football. If they're conservative with the football, this, that, and the other. So it's basically like you're facing a mirror image of that team. And I like Carolina's duo of, say, Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore. I think they're starting to get it. They were slowed down last week. I do think that the Saints could probably take advantage of their defense, but I think 7.5 to me sounds like a lot because I'm shaky on the Saints as of right now.
Is it? I mean, it is, but Teddy Bridgewater's success has come against bad teams. I mean, is it fair to say? Like, would you classify the Saints defense as bad?
I wouldn't classify them as bad, but I'd classify them as almost bad. We've seen way too many breakdowns, penalties, missed coverages. I'm not sold. Justin Herbert shredded them in the first half. They were able to get it together in the second half, but I feel like that side of the ball, I'm wondering what's going on. Like, I feel like the Saints offense can improve. Can the defense improve? Yes, but we've seen too many mishaps with not playing up to expectations from their veteran players, their star players. And I'm wondering, when is that going to kick in? Because last couple of years, defenses started slow and then they build up and start playing better. Kind of around this time of the season, after about 4 or 5 games, I'm wondering if this unit is going to be able to do the same thing. I mean, they have all the pieces in the world to do it, but I need to see it to believe it.
So what's different this year? I mean, I understand what you're saying. Started slow. They picked it up. Why would you not believe it now?
Well, Cam Jordan has had a slow start, but I do like where that defensive front is. So I feel like that part is improving. I feel like DeMario Davis, he's still a very good player. He's not playing as well in pass coverage as we've seen in the past couple of years. Like last year, he was an elite linebacker in pass coverage. That helped him become an all-pro. And we're seeing too much leakage, whether it's a running back or a tight end or too much. I don't know if they're doing things a little bit differently, but he's not, in that aspect, playing as well. I mean, Marshawn Lattimore, he wants to get paid. Well, guess what? He better have a better pass rating than 130 against him over the year. I mean, he is playing way off what he was playing last year. I don't feel like the safeties are playing great. Janoris Jenkins, outside of the pick six, I don't think he's played great. So, like I said, I feel like the defensive front is getting better, but middle and back end of the defense, and obviously the sidelines, which are corners, I need to see more because, I feel like teams can come in and potentially take advantage of that. And, it's shaky. Like, I don't think it's where it needs to be.
Maybe Daniel Jeremiah could convince Sam Darnold to come play boundary corner for the Saints.
I mean, he's under contract technically, so I don't think it's a matter of that. Wow, I've replaced Kyle Trask with Sam Darnold. So what's next? I wonder what's
the
going to be
difference
next
is we know Sam Darnold is a garbage NFL quarterback. Trask may have some potential. I'm just giving you an opinion on Trask at the next level. I know Darnold isn't good. I know it. There's a big difference.
Steve Young was not very good until he got the right coach and the right system.
If you're trying to compare Sam Darnold to a Hall of Famer and Steve Young, you have permanently discredited yourself from this show heretofore, and I don't know that we could ever speak again. So I'll give you the opportunity, because you did chuckle, to say that maybe, just maybe, you were joking there. Like, it is possible for quarterbacks to move to a new system and do very well. See Drew Brees. But Brees was already a very good starter in San Diego. They just weren't sure he would be elite, so they moved on. Like, Darnold is garbage. He's no good. He's just not. That's a miss. That's a total miss. He's terrible.
Kurt Warner went from bagging groceries in the Arena League to an NFL MVP and a Hall of Famer.
It's very different because he never had an NFL shot prior to that. He was unknown, tiny school, he's bagging groceries. Somebody saw him in the Arena League, and he helped transition the NFL. He's also played a very different system with the greatest show on turf as they were transitioning into what the NFL has now become. That was new and different at the time, and he executed it perfectly. This is different. We know Sam Darnold isn't good in this NFL.
Steve Young said Taysom Hill might be better than him.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, this feels good. Just poke that bear.
I'm telling you, Laddie, if Sam Darnold replaces Drew Brees, I'm turning in my Who Dat Nation card. I'm turning it in. I'm out.
Well, you can't get it back if he wins like 3 Super Bowls.
All right, I'm good.
You're going to take that risk.
I'm good. Come too far, man. I've come too far from the Billy Joes. Come too far from Aaron Brooks throwing the ball backwards. Too far from Danny Werfel. Respect, I love Danny Werfel, but we come too far, man. I not to see the regression to that. Never again.
So you're saying you'll give Heath Schuler another shot?
Oh, you had to say Heath Schuler. God, Jim Everett was good. Remember we were so excited about Jim Everett? Do you remember that? We were so excited, and then Jim Everett happened. And then he's pushing Jim Rome off a stage on ESPN.
I would probably push Jim Rome off that stage if he would have kept doing that to me. I probably would have done it, so I don't blame Jim. Good for him.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.